My name is Victoria Setyan. I'm senior producer at Avalanche Studios, and I'm here talking about Danger Rising.
So Victoria, talk about Danger Rising and what you're showing and talking about here at Comic-Con.
Yeah, so Danger Rising is our third update for the expansion pass, Daredevils, Demons, and Danger. And it's our biggest update yet. Do you like the alliteration?
The 3 DDs.
Yeah, so this is our third one. It's our biggest one. Just to kind of set the stage, basically, the agency is coming after Rico this time. And they're not going to make things easy on him because, he's left them. They're not cool with that. And so to take him down, they've actually brought their own grappling hooks with them. So you're going to see the agency grappling around, tethering around, and really changing up gameplay with this whole new enemy type that's coming for Rico. They brought in these submarines off the shores of Solis that they've moved in and trying to get out communications of all the information that they're finding out about Solis and about Rico. So it's up to Rico to infiltrate and shut things down. But if the agency is going to get some new toys, we want to make sure Rico's got a bunch of new toys too. And the biggest toy that he's going to have is a brand new traversal mechanic that I'm ecstatic about. It's a hoverboard. And this hoverboard works on water. Yeah.
So where can you go? So how far does the hoverboard hover, and what can it go? Like you mentioned, you can go over water. What other things can it go over? Can it fly, or is it just specifically a hoverboard?
Well, so when we were thinking about what new traversal mechanic we wanted to give Rico, we did think about, we already have the wingsuit, we have the parachute, you have the grapple hook that allows you to get all over land, so you can do air. So water is something that wasn't quite as straightforward to get around using these mechanics. Now you can slingshot yourself using wingsuit to parachute, but that kind of gave us the idea of this hoverboard. And it's actually something we thought about pretty early on in development for Just Cause 4, but we weren't quite sure if it really was the thing we wanted to pursue. So we thought it'd be really, really cool to explore it in one of our DLC updates. The updates allow us to be a little bit more creative, try out new things, and so we're like, this is the time to try the hoverboard. And so just like everything else, we are a physics simulation in our sandbox. And so when you deploy the hoverboard, you get a nice boost of speed, and then you want to tether along as you are moving through the space. And we have all these new things that like new buoys, and there's the agency can drop sea mines with their new helicopters, which is one of our new vehicles that we're introducing too. So you can tether along to those. But coolest of all are the mag rails. So once you hop on a mag rail, you just automatically go, and it almost turns into like a rail shooter at that point. Yeah. And so you can take this thing all over the place, and we encourage you to take it to the mainland, you can use it in the other DLCs, you can use it in everything. And upon completion of the bases, actually, we've set up a couple of hoverboard courses for players to complete and keep the fun going.
Can you perform tricks on the hoverboard?
So, I mean, you can certainly chain things together, but we also have a couple of skateboarders in the office. So some of them brought in their boards, and we went over like the different types of moves that you can do. So we did incorporate some sort of skateboard moves into Rico's animation set when he's on the hoverboard and jumping through the air.
So like you can't like manually do a kickflip or like a grind, nothing like that, but it's just like fun little stuff.
Yeah, it's nice little flourishes that make you feel like you feel successful as you're like doing these jumps or chaining things together, because we don't want to also give you too many mechanics. I mean, between like a wingsuit to deploy, the grapple to deploy, I mean, all the different types of things you can do with the grappling hook, we also don't want to like overcomplicate things too. So yeah, it's just nice little flourishes.
Does the hoverboard self-propel, or do you have to physics, for inertia, like play that game?
So the initial boost of speed you get when you deploy it just comes with it, but then you do want to tether along, unless you're on a mag rail, and then it just automatically goes. And also, if you get knocked into water, you can deploy it, and he will ride it to the surface and immediately just pop out onto the water.
Did you make it pink, very movie-esque 80s, or what does it look like?
No. This so the tone of the DLC was very inspired by like 007 and spies and espionage. We didn't want to go too futuristic, and we didn't want to go too retro-y either. So it looks more like technological based. But as you complete the different hoverboard courses, you will unlock a bunch of skins. And maybe if you explore enough in the world, you find a special Easter egg having to do with the hoverboard as well.
Can you go vertical with it as well, like ride it up if you are chained to something?
You don't ride it up, but the way you chain the thing, like the different traversal mechanics together, you're going to be able to get over everything. And it's a really nice way, especially if you're coming down, to land into like that hoverboard and with that nice boost of speed. And it's like just a really great like feel moment.
That's awesome. And you said and how big you have this huge open world map. What are some of the challenges when adding more things into that map so it's not too crowded, but still there's new stuff to do?
Yeah, it's definitely something we take into deep consideration as we're figuring out where we want to place these things. And also, because we're so deeply systemic, anytime you add one thing, it usually has ramifications on a bunch of others. So we want to make sure that if we're adding like a new base, like think of it like a recipe. If you're adding a new spice, you want to make sure it's not too powerful or you can't taste it at all, right? So there's a lot of thought that goes into this stuff. So as we're playing, as we're iterating, as we're coming up with these designs on paper, there's so much play testing that has to happen, and just lots of thought of how do we make sure that this feels good. Like, for example, like we're giving the agents grappling hooks. So now they have all this new movement. And in order to keep up with them, you're gonna have to move around a lot. So having something like the hoverboard, so you can just hop on a mag rail and roll around while you're shooting at them, helps you with the new traversal aspects of what they're dealing with. So it's certainly, you have to consider the balance of how these systems all connect and play out.
When can people ride this hoverboard?
August 27th.